Hi everyone, welcome to day 365 of my 365. Woo! I did it and I enjoyed it. It was tough, I'll admit, but I sure loved it. When I first started this, things were a little different going on in my life. I had two different radio shows I was doing live twice a week. And as the spring began to progress, I stopped doing those. And I halfway through my posts, I decided that I was going to experiment with it a little bit. So on the very first day of fall, I shaved off a chunk of my hair that runs all the way down the side of my head. Not that piece there, but all of this. And I've been watching it grow for half a year, and I'm pretty impressed at how fast my hair grows. And in another half a year, it's gonna almost look completely normal again. I also want to say that the friend that I love that was diagnosed with cancer when I shaved this is cancer-free as of this post, and that's exciting too. I also colored my hair apricot with a wash-in color at the first day of fall, and we watched that leave my hair in about 8.5 weeks. It was out of my hair. I have gained new scars since this post started. I had one trip to the hospital, and I talk about that in my Halloween. No, I talk about that in one of my posts in November. I don't remember which one. Throughout this year, I did experience some pretty major losses. My dog passed away, and also a friend of mine named Joe in the beginning of July, and that was devastating. It was really hard for me to push forward and do those posts. I also had another friend pass away in January this year, and that was also quite difficult, and it made me really aware of change. And it was interesting to continue to push through this project during those times where things were really difficult. I'm trying to look at my notes here and see what else I had on here. I definitely feel like, though, I am older than I was when I started this, and I can feel that. There's some funny things that happened too. I did a post early on where I was talking about perspective. I don't recall what number it is, but I'll try to remember. And I climbed up on top of the roof of my house. I think I was in April, but it was warm. It was a nice warm day. And even though there was a little bit of snow on the ground, I climbed up on the roof of my house and I did my post from up there. And it was all well and fine till my post was over and the roof was really, really hot. And I started to hesitate in getting down. And I will admit, in the time it took me to get over nerves of climbing down, it's much easier to climb up than climb down. And I was a little bit anxious and nervous. That roof got hot, and that post, every time I think of it, will make me laugh because it was all really fancy until I tried to get down. The closest to midnight I ever came was 5 minutes. And that was shocking. I don't remember what post that was either, but I woke up or yes, I had fallen asleep and I woke up and I was in a little bit of a panic because I've really been working on these being within that 24-hour window every single day. And the closest to midnight I got was 5 minutes. But I made it. And I haven't missed a single day of an entire year. And I'm really proud of that. The longest of my posts was 12 minutes long, and it was post number 258. And it was about turning negatives into positives in your life. And it was 12 minutes. The shortest post was 24 seconds long, and it was about dancing in the rain. And I was with my friend Blanche. The man who inspired me originally to do this, he was doing a gratitude journal and he was writing his posts. It wasn't live video, but it was written posts. When I first was inspired, I assumed he was doing a 365, but I went and checked on his page today and he's on 718. Pretty impressive and a reminder. And it was him who inspired me. His name is Shel Horowitz, and he inspired me by his post to do this project. And I was really grateful. But when I went and checked on him, which I've been enjoying his posts anyway throughout mine, 718 for him. I also want to say that for me, there were 3 posts where I was completely naked. And one where I had just a top on. And after I put it up, I realized it had already gone live. I had posted it, that there had been a mirror behind me. And I had a howling laugh scrolling back through and making sure that that post live had not had any of my undercarriage showing from behind there. And that was a hoot, as well as some of the behind the scenes stuff that went on during this year. I have a lot of people I want to thank. I want to thank Jamie, Rob, Will, Ashley, Kyle, Henry, Blanche, Lorraine, Connie, Jules, Charity, Sandy, Daryl, Wanda, Terry, my friends, my family. I have some amazing followers, and I've gotten so many people contacting me since yesterday and today, just cheering me on for my final day 365. I also want to say I'm very, very grateful to my mother, who influenced every single day of this year, even though she has crossed over and been on the other side. I am very grateful for her influence, and her love has shined on me every single day during this journal. Well, there goes Wendy with a little bit of moisture in the eyes. I've made a full list, and I'm going to attach that to this, of me reading every single topic of this journal. I want to thank everyone. I have a few questions and answers that people have submitted, and I'm going to approach those and then end with a final prayer. Spring equinox, the moon, rescue pets and workers, genuine smiles, dreams, a day off, able to learn every day, dancing, people who take responsibility, aging, water, power of prayer, willpower, hard workers, jokes, change, sunrise, small town post office, living in a small town, meditation, healthcare workers, having a car, imagination, my treasures that have no value, spell check, friendships, self-pampering, spring showers, kind strangers, shifting perspective, hearing, fate, adaptability, poetry, creativity, being trusted, capability to love, letting emotions out, healthy borders, road trips, new places, comfy clothes, forgiveness, being healthy, my mistakes, pride in my career, healthy business connections, storytellers, my bed, inner voice or God, spring, human rights activists, Mother Nature, sharing wisdom, traditions, being a homeowner, sunsets, trusting instincts, stars, distance friendships, weddings and celebrations, brave communications, guilty pleasures, commitment, dedication, being a strong woman, naps, being loved, transportation and travel, choosing the highest good, long baths, being a barefooter, holistics, the cycle of life, tree trimming, deep conversations, material things, my mom, hometown emotions, being outdoors, good sex, aloneness, my son, education day, angels, a sense of smell, choice, laughter, swimming, high school graduation, all-nighters, hanging laundry, fantasy, primal screams, summer solstice, the wheel of the year, sculptures, farmers, national parks, fireflies, first responders, my situation, horses, new beginnings, date night, Canada, end of work, Dakota, my dog, USA, recalibrate, drive-thrus, lime or lemonade, growing up, the edible yard, the fire pit, thunder and lightning, puzzles, swinging, strawberry picking, finishing things, unconditional love from my pets, optimism, candlelight, results of training, natural living, plans coming together, cycling, colors, fun life mate, taking a walk, sunbeams, Ottawa, Ontario, night before my day off, finishing chores, fresh cut flowers, hand be downs, knowing in advance, inspiring others, music in schools, summer breeze, night sounds, dancing in the rain, confirmation, strong women in my life, waiting for a baby to be born, being naked, my masculine side, the men I've loved, passionate people, the miracle of childbirth, going to bed early, summer, sense of taste, books, mind control, inside jokes, discovery, seasonal reminders, funny miscommunications, double dates, great music, morning fog, romance, and people in love, greasy spoons and diners, new moon, shenanigans, holiday weekends, my body, learning from nature, family visits, subtle change, photo albums, things well made, great gigs, technology and communication, rolling with it, survivors outreach, good for others, logic, bluntness, doggy playdates, reason to buy a dress, halfway in and halfway out, a distant train, family gatherings, hugs, summer's end, fall equinox, understanding pain, being a grandma, sun sparkles, protest, giving gifts, easy research, volunteering, fresh apples, migrating geese, questioning yourself, a fall afternoon, creative opportunities, spontaneous family fun, great tech support, fragility, givers, creative friends, big sky, innocence of youth, Thanksgiving, herbal remedies, end of the day, follow through, perfect, being a perfect couple, self-observation, being fully present, the harvest, good things ahead, signs, confession, my birthday, Mother Nature, reminders, stillness, support network, horror movies, air, magic and intention, corporate events, the journey, just do you, state of gratefulness, a state of gratefulness, all art forms, loving life, fall, courage, expanding universe, go with it, all who serve, time heals, childhood memories, routine, tenacity, what did not happen, signature scent, playful competition, I don't go into shock, crisp weather, the coma clause, where I am, playing games, sight, letting go, my heritage, inspiring others, memories of my mother, slumber parties and sleepovers, my daughter, cell phones, negative, turning negatives into positives, my extended family, astral projection, vacations, airport personnel, finishing, women's empowerment, branches of love, safe travels, being a psychic, death's wisdom, in-laws and stepchildren, impermanence, gratitude's effect, surprises, catching up, uniqueness, food on the table, end of fall, last day of fall, final quarter, food on the table. What is this one? I think it's the last day of fall. Yule, which is the longest night, winter solstice. The law of one, energy management, what we have, lost pet returns, helping the needed, give what you can, crystals, favorable weather, humor during a crisis. More chances, nesting, healing touch, buskers, snooze button, being at ease, someone to hug, rolling down a hill, rainbows, northern lights, freedom of speech, cannabis if I choose, how time flies, taking turns, being chilled out, helpful critique, the space between, midnight snacks, seeing love shine, sharing, wildlife, My hair, speaking up, good driving, love beyond death, saying no, the next thing, studying new things, mountains, facing my shadow, prioritizing, stillness, your success, losing, speaking my mind, my past, my present, and my future. Winter, being alive, detoxing, what I have learned, looking myself in the eye, having a package delivered, great customer care, Mother Earth and her oceans, craftsmanship, unconditional love, coffee, my vote, word of mouth success, fresh fruit and vegetables, fear, not oversleeping, science, First Nations teachings, puddle stomping, all 4 seasons, not being too old ever, random acts of kindness, spirit visitations, exchange of services, medical and medicine, my fire pit, art day, inventors, performing arts, reading, frequency and vibration, teaching classes, identifying as a witch, art, possibilities, one more week, purpose, faith, the collective, memories, my guy, photography, and today's post, gratitude. Okay, so the total I wanted to add of this whole thing, when you add it all up, is over 13 and a half hours of video this year. What the hell? So if you're ever looking for something to do while you're in your house having nothing to do, you could watch 13 and a half hours of gratitude. But on to questions that I have had people ask me, and I'm going to go for the most awkward one first, but I'm going to just say it. I had someone ask me, how can I send a tip or donation, much like the busker episode, you know, like I've got my hat down or my guitar case open, and honestly, I just love that, and that's sweet. And so if there is anybody who feels so compelled, know that if I do get any tip or donation, I will use it for better equipment, bringing you more content, better videos, stuff like that moving forward. But you can get me at my PayPal account, paypal.me, Wendy James 181, and I'll write that. I guess I'll write it right over here, right there, so that you can see that, and I'll put it in the description. But I'm not one to ask or solicit, but I did have someone ask, and I thought, okay, I'll put this in the ending. Question number 2. What were your most favorite and your least favorite? By far, my most favorite videos were number 72 was the cycle of life. I love that one. I knew that I wanted to talk about that topic, but I wasn't sure how I was going to bring it forward. And I was just walking my property and I found a rotting log and went right for it. It was great. I have 3 of my top favorites. The other one was good sex. I was right up here on top of this shed for that one, and it's just a really good post about a very healthy way to look at sex and intimacy, and that was number 80. And post 337 was about fear and using fear as a tool to expand and to learn, and I really felt that that was powerful and important, especially kind of what we're going through now, everybody. And then my least favorite, by far, hands down, was the death of my dog, number 106, Dakota, who suddenly passed away in my office from heart failure, 8-year-old dog all of a sudden. And I just wasn't even sure I could continue. It was heartbreaking. It set me back. It was so difficult. And another friend passed away right during that window of time. And I heard about it while I was mourning with my dog, and it just set me back. I was down for about 3 days. It was tough, but I did my posts. Question number 3. If you could change anything, what would it be? I have quite a few. I, by mistake, did 2 posts about being grateful for my fire pit and 2 posts about being grateful for all forms of art. And I guess in hindsight, I wish I'd gone back and taken those spots and used them for 2 other things, though there were a few posts where I put a lot more than one topic in them. I kind of wish I had noticed that reoccurrence. I also wish that when I was down, when I was low, that I had really had more faith in the fact that I would come to this day today and brought my energy up a little bit higher for some of the posts when I was low. Even though it was where I was at and how I felt at that time, I wished I could have maybe engaged a bit more energy into some of my posts when I was going through ups and downs throughout the year. And oh yeah, my April Fool's post number 13, I just wish April Fool's had been much further into the year, because really I didn't have as many followers. Also, for my April Fool's joke, I was so nervous about pretending like I couldn't carry forward and finish this. I think it would have been much funnier, much more powerful if it had been much later in the year. I also have to say I have one big regret, is that I did do a really dramatic, really over-the-top post on Christmas Day that I deleted. And it was so crazy, and 20 people saw it, and I've only heard from one who let me know they saw it. I don't know who the 20 were. It was only out there for about 25 minutes. but my cat had gone missing, and it's an indoor cat, and I had been home wrapping stuff. I had lots of family stuff going on, and I was almost inconsolable. It was Christmas Day. My indoor cat was missing. I was just devastated and wiped out, and I did this sobbing post on Christmas because I just felt like I just couldn't go on, that I didn't have anything I felt grateful for. And I was it was over the top, but it was live, and I had tissue in my hand, and I was sobbing. And then a half hour later, after being gone for 2 days, my cat showed up, and I deleted the post really quick and did a gratitude post for being grateful for my pet returning right on Christmas Day. But in hindsight, I wish I had that piece. I wish I hadn't have deleted it, only because now looking back, I was so guttural and raw. I wish I had the piece kind of for this whole art piece to make it complete. Knowing that one's missing, I'll always kind of be there in my mind. And my final regret is I did a one about jokes or sense of humor, and it was post number 15, and I told a joke. I don't think I told it really well. I'm not the best joke teller, but I mean, it didn't even evoke like a response from anybody or any humor or any laughter at all. And I have to say that, so to me, that makes it even funnier. But when I looked through my list, that was one where I was like, that didn't even have a wow factor. It had even like a no laugh factor. And it kind of was like crickets on the stage as a comedian, I suppose. Okay, question number 4. Why did I really do this? Why did I do this? I mentioned that in a post before, once before, but I really didn't go much into it. I had gotten really sick last February, and I was really, really sick, and a whole bunch of, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. Obviously, in hindsight, I look back, and I think part of the reason all that came forward was to get to this place now. But I was very depressed. I was purging out a whole lot of stuff that had happened to me throughout my life. I mean, just some awful things, and I openly like had a train wreck in public and wrote a post, an outward post about a whole lot. Like I just spit out a whole bunch of stuff. I deleted it about 3 weeks later. But I also knew that I was drastically in a low place. And so I created this project to give me a reason to be here every day for a year. And that's the honest truth. And I wanted to have a reason to get up every day and a reason to find gratitude. And if I hadn't have maybe made the public promise, I'm not sure if I would have had the energy to find that kind of love and that kind of excitement about my life process. So bringing that forward, I take that to my question number 5, which is, how have I changed the most? And that's the question I've most been asked by almost everyone, is how has this changed you? And I answer most people so far in telling them that I think I'm going to be trying to figure out how this has changed me probably for the rest of my life. How has it changed me? It's helped me not get stuck in sadness at the same volume that maybe I might have if I weren't aware of gratitude at this volume. I'm going to continue to use gratitude as a tool in my toolbox of self-support for the rest of my life. I'm also going to refer back to some of these posts over time to bring myself up, to remind myself of my purpose, or that I do make a difference, and that I'm doing this hopefully to not only keep myself grounded and well, but hopefully to show other people that it's okay to be fragile, to create some kind of support network for yourself, even if it's just for you, that you are doing something loving outwardly, because it does feel good to give. And this post was a gift to the world, but it was really also ultimately a gift to myself. How has it changed me? I think it saved me from myself and brought me to a place of being more comfortable, obviously on video, and totally candid about who I am, but also very, very conscious and aware of my role. And outwardly, anything that I do in public is about helping others as well while nurturing me. And I think I've got so much to gather from that. So on Halloween night, I started a little poem, a prayer, a small spell, and I'm going to finish this with a touch of faith and prayer myself. But I am going to finish the poem I started, which didn't rhyme at the very end for a reason, and we have come to the end. So, to my cauldron, I add a touch of red to keep us all clear in our heads, for gratitude to come quite easily, for all of us to find that peace, for all of us to know what it feels like to stop thinking about the troubles and strife, for all of us to find harmony and to choose to live gratefully becoming free. And so here we are at the very end of something pretty amazing in my life. And I hope that it inspires you. This is my ripple in the pond. I had done one of my gratitude journals, number 63, was about dedication. And I talked about monks who mummified themselves, and as long as they stayed in their prayer positions, their prayer carries forward for the rest of time. And I feel a little bit that way about what I want this post to mean for humanity and the planet. It is a prayer. It's an energy thing, and it goes a full circle of the year. Tomorrow, when we all wake up, it will be the beginning of spring again, and off we run into the spin of another year. And it is my blessing and my prayer that we have harmony, that we have world healing, that we have healing for humanity, that we are all coming together unconditionally. I believe we are light, love, frequency, and vibration, and that our love does matter. Our kindness matters. Our outreach matters. Our thoughts and our prayers matter. And with that, on day 365 of my 365-day gratitude, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for gratitude.